Good evening, it's Carla. The Cosmic Crone is here to give you the Cancer New Moon Divine Feminine Astrology reading. It is Thursday evening, July 8th. The new moon is exact in 25 hours on July 9th at 9:17 p.m. That happens to be my sweetheart's birthday, and I have been busy all day with preparations for his birthday party, and I'm only just getting to the reading. Oh my goodness. What can we say? What does the Cosmic Crone have to say about this new moon in Cancer? It's kind of interesting. My sweetheart's a Cancer, and preparing for his birthday has involved a lot of home love. The family is pulling together. The nest, I painted walls, done deep cleaning. It's really, I've been feeling that Cancer energy seep in his honor, and I know some other people who will be listening have some home issues coming up. They are moving home and changing everything about home. So I invite you just to gently recognize that this new moon in Cancer is about opening up a portal for very good things to come in regarding home. So that's how I'm going to begin the reading. Cancer is a sign of nesting, of home, of nourishment and nurture, and security, where we feel at home, where we feel like we belong. Cancer people like to provide. They always want to make sure there's enough or more than enough. And my sweetheart does the grocery shopping, so we always have all the paper towels, all the toilet paper, all the eggs, the big size of everything. It's pretty handy because it's time to make dinner. You just go in there and there's plenty of food. Thank you, Cancers. The world needs Cancers. And looking at the chart, I see some things that could feel intense. There are two T-squares. A T-square is an opposition where both ends of the opposition are square another point. And so there are two of these in this chart today, as well as a couple of other random squares and a grand fire trine. So that's a lot of energy. It's appropriate because in no time at all we'll be in Leo, and that fire energy is going to be activated. We've already got Mars and Venus in Leo, and in fact they are holding down one angle of this grand fire trine. The other angle is the Great Attractor in Sagittarius, and a conjunction between Chiron and Lilith asteroid. Now, Lilith asteroid is moving beyond Chiron, but they are still a degree apart exactly. So that conjunction that was active all last week is still operational at this new moon, which is going to give it energy and keep it going even longer. Lilith asteroid is the disowned feminine within. It is the part of us that we learned very young that we think is unworthy or less than, not as good as. And we disown it. We think it needs to be fixed, or we think we want to just avoid dealing with it altogether. And Chiron is right there saying, No, bring this forward. Bring this forward. You are going to be triggered, and the triggering will bring you healing. So if you looked at Mars and Venus, who are heading towards a conjunction, and that conjunction will be exact next weekend, in about the next, it's real now. Venus is getting closer to Mars, and they are both moving through Leo together. So they are hot. And this could be a very hot, romantic, sexual kind of energy, especially in Leo. It's also, when I see any of the major divine feminine planets activating Mars in some way, I feel like they are enlisting Mars. They are giving the masculine a job to do. And the masculine loves to serve the feminine. In patriarchy, we don't get that feeling, because the appropriate relationship between the masculine and feminine, the natural relationship between masculine energy and feminine energy is, it's been perverted. But when these two come together, the way that they come together, the masculine serve, protect, defend, do the bidding of, make possible, bring her desires into being. And when you think about it, that ultimate combination of masculine and feminine energy, conception, the egg has all the potential of the new human, and the sperm is igniting and releasing, and they're merging their DNA and their genetic material, but the energy to begin dividing comes from that masculine penetration in service to that egg, which is feminine and full of all of the potential of life. So anytime Venus and Mars get together, yes, it's erotic, it's sexual, and we can always look at everything on multiple octaves. There's what we feel, what's going on in our relationships, in our desires, in our bodies, what's going on in our minds, what's going on in the world, in the energetic field, in our inner relationship to masculine and feminine, and what's going on in the down below, in the unconscious. So Mars and Venus and Chiron and Lilith are together saying, they are in this part of this fire trine saying, at the time of the new moon, the door is opening for a very deep healing between our masculine and feminine energies. So is that something that's going on in your relationship? Regardless of whether you are in a same-sex or opposite-sex relationship, this is about energy, not body parts. And then certainly, I know that I've been working it on my internal world, the masculine and the feminine, and I've been working it in my relationship. And the great attractor is like the ultimate divine feminine point. She represents this goddess, this, it's almost, it has a feminine, what shall we say, a feminine kind of, I'm not remembering the word. There's a word that means exactly what I want to say, but it's not coming up. It's beyond goddess. It's not the goddess because it is beyond a physical. We literally do not know what the great attractor is. We just see its effects as all of the galaxies in our neighborhood are being drawn towards that point somewhere in Sagittarius. Right now it is at 1415 Sagittarius. And So it has a resonance, a feminine resonance, because of that attraction and that irresistible kind of relentless calling in. So this is a major important energy that's happening. And this energy, this fire trine, will help you work with the energy of the T-squares, which I'm going to describe. The first T-square, gorgeous, the sun and moon together at 18 Cancer. And they are square Magdalena in Libra. That is feminine Christ consciousness, Mary Magdalene, and we are now 2 weeks from her feast day. So sometime very close to full moon. I haven't actually looked at the chart for that yet, but I think it might be just before the full moon. In the full moon window, we will be having Mary Magdalene's feast day. So right now it's a square. That is a tight energy. That is an energy that feels kind of locked down, and it requires some decision making and some action to release that energy. And it also, given that it's the sun and the moon and Mary Magdalene, it could involve research. Do you need to meditate on Mary Magdalene? Read a book about her. Read her words. Do you need to get a picture of her and stare at it? Tune in to that energy of Mary Magdalene, who is the great feminine teacher of Christendom. And I say Christendom kind of with under advisement. She was the closest, Jesus' closest associate, closest disciple, possibly consort, wife, lover, but certainly as a teacher in her own right, she understood his teachings and received the mysteries and kind of channeled them through her feminine capacity, her womb. And was she a priestess of one of the feminine mystery schools, the goddess mystery schools of the time? There's so much we don't know about her. People imagine. Imagination is a good thing. So right now, she is opposite Hecate in Aries. Hecate, the crone at the crossroads, the elder who helps people travel between this world and the underworld. Every decision is like a little death, is a decision into the unknown. And that can be very challenging for us. We do not like decisions and we don't like the unknown. We want to know the answer now. And Hecate says, everything interesting in life happens at the crossroads. And she says, choose wisely. And I'm here to say, we can't really get it wrong. The worst mistake we make around decisions is not making one. Or we can make decisions from a dysfunction, a wounded, a trauma response kind of place. So here she is looking across the sky at Mary Magdalene. So if you are in this full moon, new moon portal in Cancer, needing to make decisions, diving into the masculine, feminine energies of your relationship, of your business, of your health, of your home, of your children, needing to stand for boundaries, to stand for justice. Mary Magdalene is feeding you deep teachings of sacredness Hecate is feeding you deep feelings or deep knowing that you've got this, that you can make the decision, that you can dive in. Mary Magdalene is saying, find the healthy place inside of you, the place that knows, the place that is not reactive or triggered, the place that can have faith regardless of the information you have in front of you or regardless of appearances. So this full moon is literally opening up to faith around decisions. Magdalene is also in Libra, which is a sign associated with relationship, with balance, with the working with polarities and finding that dynamic, lively, vibrant balance that is not stasis, but is more of a dance. And it may not feel like you're dancing with these squares, but that's what the fire trine energy is for. Now there is a second T-square. Vesta is in late Virgo. She's at 26 Virgo. She is square Mercury at 27 Gemini and opposite Pallas Athene at 27 Pisces. So Mercury is square Pallas Athene, square Vesta. They are opposite each other. Vesta is the priestess, and for 9 months, she has been in her, I consider it her home planet of Virgo. She went retrograde all the way back through Virgo. And throughout this time, Black Moon Lilith has been traveling through Taurus in a trine to Vesta. So Black Moon Lilith is the divine feminine before patriarchy. She is the goddess before patriarchy said, you are demon, you are worthless, you are less than. So Lilith represents everything that the goddess stands for. The void of creation, the womb that gives birth, that brings us into form, that brings everything into form, whether it's an atom or a galaxy and everything in between. And she also represents the embodied energies that we human beings, or that all life expresses. So that would be fertility, sexuality, sensuality, being in the body, recognizing that truth arises from within our bodies. We carry this. We carry this in our wombs. We are walking oracles of truth. We are walking, manifesting creatures, beings of magic and witchcraft. Lilith is associated with witches, witchcraft. She is, I believe, the original witch because she took the elements and made things out of them. I did a drawing of Lilith, just a quick sketch that was just kind of burst through me in like 20 minutes. And it was matching something that I received during orgasm, actually. Lilith often talks to me in those moments. And Lilith, it was a scene between Adam and Lilith. Adam said, Lilith, you are a dirty, worthless woman. Get beneath me. I'm on top. I am the most important. I am on top. I have the most important job. You are beneath me. And Lilith said, I am sacred earth. Try growing anything without me. I'm leaving. And so she took her power and abandoned Eden. Well, the story is more nuanced than that, but that's how it begins. So Black Moon Lilith has been moving through for 9 months this garden of a sign. Taurus is like a garden things grow. It's lush, it's beautiful, it's luxurious. It's wealth and sensuality. It is being in the body, the hoofed animal stomping the earth. The bull is an ancient sign of fertility. Tends to be masculine, but Taurus, the bull, is also the cow. I have cows in my field and they're dropping calves. There's a week-old calf running around out there. So Black Moon Lilith is in the last degree of Taurus now. She has moved forward. She doesn't ever go retrograde. So she moves forward. It takes about 9 months to assign, give or take. Vesta moves much more quickly, but since she retrograded through Virgo, she's been there 9 months. So what's fascinating to me, and I will talk more about this next week in a special reading because we'll look at what happens when Vesta and Black Moon Lilith each change signs. And it's happening within 24 hours. Back in September, within 24 hours, Vesta and Black Moon Lilith entered their respective signs. Black Moon Lilith entered Taurus and Vesta entered Virgo. And at that moment, they were in a trine. That's a flow state. So they were communicating with each other. The priestess and the dark goddess were talking. And now they've moved all the way through. They're about to leave, and they're going to leave and go into air signs, also in a trine, still in that flow state. That will last for a few days because Vesta moves much faster and she's not going to retrograde. Black Moon Lilith will be in Gemini for about 9 months, and Vesta will, over those 9 months, will be making other aspects. I have looked up the astrology. I don't remember right now how quickly she moves. But on she goes, and things will change. This is in some ways the end of an era, but also the beginning of another one. So right now, at this moment, besides being opposite Pallas Athene is intellectual strength, strategy, power of mind used the right way, mind used as a creative tool, as a way to solve problems, as a way to receive inspiration and sort things out. And Mercury is the communicator. Right now it's a square. The priestess is square and opposite. So communication, writing, even technology could feel a little balled up while this is getting sorted out. It also may mean your inner priestess has something to say to you, and you need to be still and listen so that you'll know what to do next. This is a time of preparation for the shift as these two extraordinary divine feminine planets prepare to change signs. What else? Vesta happens to be in an exact trine to Algol, the demonized goddess. So once again, in both situations, we have Vesta and the dark goddess. This has been an aspect that has been active for pretty much the last 2 years. One way or the other, through transits. Vesta's last retrograde was about 18 months ago in Taurus. So she crossed the dark goddess twice. In fact, she turned retrograde in a conjunction, in a transit to Algol, conjunction to Algol. So Vesta has been telling us to set up our altar to the dark goddess. remember her, tap into her power, do whatever we need to do to find that energy within us. Allow that initiation to come forward and to make the dark underworld journey. So Vesta is doing that work right now, and we'll continue because we've got a solid week. I think this is what's happening next weekend. These two planets are or points are changing signs. Venus and Mars are in an exact conjunction middle of next week, like Wednesday, or really all next week. So this is a big time. This is a big time. Masculine and feminine energies are getting our attention. They're saying, use this to move. The two work better in partnership. The feminine creates and carries the potential. The masculine is the igniting fire force, the decisiveness, the one that says this, not that. And it's in service to the feminine, always. So this is a time of reclaiming, and it's also, because of these squares, it's a time of saying, let me study on this. Activate the mind, activate resources. Mercury can be about resources, searching through the resources. Tuning in to Magdalena and that feminine Christ consciousness energy, the spiritual teachers, the feminine spiritual teachers, and the dark goddess within. And it's like, get your ducks in a row. Sit with this. And if it's time to burn something down with that fire trine, use the fire energy and burn the squares. Sometimes it's time to decide and move. And the new moon says, open up, set a clear intention. Very traditionally, what many people do is set an intention at the new moon. With this fire trine and these squares, that's an excellent time to get very clear on an intention. An intention that can work with that square energy to build up some structure, some knowing, gather resources, and then boom, when it's time to go, something will come. Something, some sign. It could be a hit of, like, don't you love the panel trucks that go by with the ads painted on the side, or the logos and taglines, and it's like, holy cow, that's divine instructions for me right now. I'm fond of white bears, so if I see the polar bear on the Poland Spring water bottle truck, or the Klondike bar, it's like, hey, look at that. I must be on the right track. Or it could be you're reading oracles. You've got the tarot. Or it could be that you are inspired to get a divine feminine astrology reading with me. Maybe you need the really deep oracle that takes the planets and the stars and then drops into your womb and makes sense of all this for you. It could be that you're at such a big crossroads with this new moon that you need some extra support, and I am here to offer that to you. I'll put the link in the comments. Couple of other things. The great attractor is square Nessus. So Nessus is feeding in. Nessus has a couple of other aspects. And Nessus is the planet of ancestral healing, of trauma and abuse. And if that's coming up for you, you have all of these resources. The fire could be a trigger. The squares could be, sit with it. What's it trying to tell you? And then do the work. So that's what the new moon has to offer right now. It feels very personal. It feels like this is about you and your inner work, your home, your body, your life, your personal life, your intimate relationships, your chosen family, your blood family. This new moon is really, it happens to be in the 6th house of this chart here in where drawn for where I live. So that definitely speaks to your day-to-day intimate life, how you get through every day. Oh, something I wanted to mention, I have a little note here. Next week, actually starting now, if it's clear where you are, we've got rain for a few days, but this weekend will be clear. If you go outside with a clear view to the west, you can see Venus and Mars in the sky together. You can see this conjunction that is going to be exact next week. It will still be fairly light. You should be able to see Venus easily. It will be fairly soon after sunset, within an hour or so, or maybe an hour or two. They'll be low in the sky in the west. You might need binoculars to really make out Mars because he'll be much smaller and not nearly as bright as Venus. But I'm going to remember to go out to a field or a place where I have a good view of the west. I have too many trees around me where I live. And see if I can see that that conjunction in real life. I love it when we can blend our astrology and astronomy. So happy birthday to Charlie, and happy weekend, happy new moon, blessed new moon to all of you. Hi, Sherry. See you later.